All right, hello. I hope everyone is doing well. Today we're going to be going over a very important subject, which is the idea of upselling or charging, additional things for your clients, or trying to get as much money as you can from your clients or future clients. This is like a thing that I often get asked by people. All right, Oliver, my client is paying me $2,000 per month and I want to charge $3,000. How can I do that? And I think it all comes off from the basis of how you frame the partnership when you guys start working together. And I think if you have like a good basis on how you price your services, that's when you can really upsell your clients and retain them forever. Okay. So often enough, people will come to me and they'll ask me, Oliver, do you prefer doing high ticket or having monthly recurring revenue? Obviously, you can have a high monthly recurring revenue, but it's difficult to charge, $15,000 recurring every single month to a client, all right? So I'm going to sort of take this question on like a basis where it's like either I charge lots of money one time, and when I say lots of money, I'm talking like more than 10,000. So let's say 10, 15, or do I do a monthly recurring of like $2,000 per month? And now I have forever a client. All right, and they each have their pros and cons. All right, one thing about high ticket is that you have a bunch of leverage because you do charge high ticket, so you have lots of money up front. All right, that is probably the biggest plus of having a high ticket, is that if you do get $10,000 upfront from a client, that means you can technically spend upwards of $10,000 to acquire a client. And when you start advertising on Facebook or you hire appointment setters and stuff, that gives you lots of room for a high margin of error. And also you can outcompete your competition, right? Because if the competition can only spend $1,000 per month to acquire a client and you can spend 10, then you are basically guaranteed to beat them if you have a good system in place. All right, so you have lots of leverage. You have leverage on your people. Okay, so you have buying power. You have higher, you can afford to have a higher cost per acquisition. You can buy better talent, outsource. Okay, I don't know why it's in caps, sorry about that. But essentially, when you have lots of money up front, it gives you lots of power. But the drawback, or what people commonly will say, is that it's a one-time fee. So you work super hard to make 10,000, but it's not something that's going to come recurring. All right. So every month or every 3-4 months, however long your program is, your service is, you have to restart the cycle and find someone new. All right. And this is a bad thing about high ticket. Now, when it comes to monthly recurring revenue, what's good is that you have forever client is with you forever. Okay. And obviously not forever, but in the sense that if you provide good value and the client is happy with what you're doing, you could technically keep the client forever. So once you sign a client, even if it's for $2,000 per month, you have that $2,000 per month for the rest of your business. All right. That's assuming if they don't drop you. Typically, a client will drop you, but if you look at it at like, let's say a 12-month span, if you have a really good service, you should be able to keep your client. All right. So that's the fun part about monthly recurring revenue. But the downside is the same thing. All right, is that you don't have, what's the opposite of high tickets? Basically, you don't have lots of money up front. So if I only get $2,000 up front, it's hard for me to spend $10,000 to acquire a client unless I have a bunch of capital already in my bank account. Okay, and it's typically easier to get clients in the door with the recurring revenue. Okay, so I often get asked, Oliver, do I do high ticket or do I do monthly recurring revenue? So my thought process on that is high ticket has its positives and recurring has its positives. So why not do both? All right, why not do both? Now you might be asking me, Oliver, you cannot charge $15,000 per month. It's stupid. You're right. Okay, probably you cannot. So what I would do is to start off a high ticket. Okay, I'm going to start using boxes. So your first step should be high ticket. So you can frame this as being like a program or a build and release format, meaning that the client comes to you with a problem. Let's say it's acquisition. They want more clients. and you tell them, hey, I have a program which lasts 4 months. During this 4 months, we will build out let's use my example, okay? What I do with my agency owners, okay? We charge high ticket upfront. And what do? We basically do a done for you acquisition plus a done for you closing and a bunch of things other in the back end, but that's sort of the main thing we do for our clients. Okay, so we basically build them an entire department when it comes to acquisition and closing for their company, and I frame it as like a 4-month program. So saying like, hey, we will build it out, it's going to take like about 2-3 weeks. From there, we're going to manage it, adjust it, and make sure it runs smoothly, and this will last 4 months. And we charge a one-time high-ticket upfront fee. Okay? Now, the bad part about this is that once the 4 months is over, I have to restart the whole cycle and get another client, which sucks. All right? But I have the leverage. I have the high-ticket fee. But I said to myself, why not combine both? Why not do high-ticket and recurring? So what did I do? My second step is the recurring. And this is in a this format of management. Okay. And this is recurring. Okay. So you see what I did is that I started off by charging high tickets so I could get that leverage, so I could afford to have a high cost per acquisition. Because if I know I'm going to collect 10K upfront from a client, I can spend a bunch of money on the ads to acquire that client. All right, so I have that advantage over the marketplace. Now my disadvantage is that he paid me 10K once. I forever have to, like, I can have an amazing month. I can make $1 million in a month, but the next month I start at zero because I have no recurring. So that sucks. So I needed that recurring revenue. So what I did is that at the end of the 4 months, my program is that I have an ongoing management fee if they do wish to continue working with us. All right, so it's like, hey, we built out your acquisition system and we did the closing for you for 4 months. Look at the results that we brought you. If you want us to continue managing everything for you, we'll do it for a monthly fee. Most people say yes because it's a no-brainer offer, because it's like just getting clients on autopilot and they don't have to do anything. So they might as well just say yes. Okay, so that's how I upsell my clients. It's more of a downsell if you look at it actually. It's not an upselling strategy, it's a downselling strategy. You basically do the opposite. Because say to yourself, if someone was willing to spend, let's say 10,000 with me, do you think they would not spend 2K with me if I brought them amazing results for 10K? Okay, someone who spent this is a lot easier to convince to spend 2K than it is the opposite. If someone paid me 2K up front and then I was charging them 10,000, that would be a whole different story. This would be a lot harder to do. But the opposite is very easy. Okay? Think about it. Let's say you buy a car. Okay, you buy an expensive ass car. It costs you 100K. And then they tell you like, yeah, if you want this special carpet, it's going to be an extra $1,000. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, you're already paying 100K for the car. So that 1,000, it's not that, like, even though, yes, it's a lot, you're paying $1,000 for carpet. When you look at it in that way, like from a standpoint that I'm spending 100K for this car, that 1K seems like nothing. And this is the exact same option. They're buying an expensive car, an expensive house. And after you get them amazing, you do have to have very good service, all right? This is why it's very important. But you get them amazing results, and they're like, wow, I really like this person. I want to continue working with him. You're like, perfect. If you want to work with me, it's not even going to be 10,000 again. It's just 2K per month. And we're going to keep doing everything, and you can sign off whenever you want. So I beat everyone who starts here, and I beat everyone who just sits here. Because they have to work every single month, and they don't collect anything up front. Or they don't collect that much upfront, so they can't afford to spend that much money to acquire clients. But I have both. I have high ticket and recurring. All right, so this is how I would frame my service. Instead of doing month by month, this can be harder if you're just starting out, but if you have the ball rolling, you have good case studies, you know what you're doing, you can easily transition towards this. offer them a 3-month, 4-month package in a build and release format. So I will build you something. So if you're running, Facebook ads for plumbers, I will build you an acquisition system for your plumbing business, and I'll help you with the lead follow-up. I'll put a VA that's going to act like a receptionist for you or something like that. I don't know what you guys want to do, all right? And sell that as like a one-time fee package. You get the upfront fee, you have lots of money, you have lots of leverage to reinvest in the service delivery, in acquisition, in marketing and everything. And at the end of the 4 months, when the person sees what you've been doing for 4 months and sees that you've been managing the entire thing on their behalf, and now they have to do everything on their own, they have to manage the receptionist, they have to manage the acquisition system that you build out, so all the VAs that you placed, you trained, and you manage. These people are like, well, I don't want to do it, but you have been getting me amazing results. Can I just pay you $2,000 per month and you can keep doing what you're doing? All right, it's going to be very easy to sell. Okay, so that's my strategy. It's not really of upselling. Funny enough, I started off this video thinking it was going to be an upselling strategy. It's actually downselling. Now that I talk about it, say it out loud, it's downselling strategies. So start high ticket, offer a build and release, and then afterwards have some sort of management. It doesn't have to be management. It can be info. I know Gym Launch, Alex Hormozzi's company, they used to do, they would provide just like info-based service. All right, so they would look at what's like happening in the gym space, in the local gym spaces, and see like what are the trends, what are the products that are working best, workouts, I don't know what they talk about, but he would basically provide them with lots of value in the information base that the clients would use and apply to their own business. And people would pay a monthly recurring revenue for that. I know I'm doing that right now. I'm in a company right now that does that. Every day, every week, they give me more information on how to run an online business, and I apply everything to my business. Okay, so it doesn't have to be management. There's lots of formats on how to do it, but you need something recurring that you can. And this is very important too, to provide a bunch of value, because it has to be very like, oh my God, they're giving me so much value and they're only charging $2,000, because it has to be super easy for you to deliver. Okay, that's another thing. You cannot add yourself a crazy amount of workload by having this monthly recurring revenue. It has to be something that's easy to replicate for every single client, which is why the info base is good. You make one good video on something you discovered. It helps everyone increase their revenue, and they see the value and they stay with you. Okay, management is a bit harder, depends on what you do exactly, but it's also possible. That's what we do. Okay, so yeah, that's a little downselling, upselling strategy, however you want to call it, but I think that's very important. All right, so don't be so like binary where it's like, I can only have high ticket up front, I can only have recurring, which one do I pick? You take both and you find a way to make it. This is how I do it. This is how other businesses do it as well. So take a look at it, see how you can implement this for your business. As usual, if ever you guys have any questions, you can send me a message on Instagram. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you want my team to actually tell you exactly what they would do in your business, we would basically tell you exactly what we would do as an upfront fee, how much we would charge, what would we provide depending on your business, your service, your niche, and then how we would transition towards that monthly recurring revenue after 2-3 months of working with that client. All right, so best of luck with everything, and we'll talk soon.